My brother Matt just recently got engaged to his fiancée Tatiana, and they were dating for 4 years, and after the first year of dating, Tatiana got Matt this picture frame, and it's a collage of all different moments that they had throughout their first year of dating. And I was in Matt's apartment recently looking at this thing, and I noticed the title said, "And Then I Met You." And I said, that sounds like a song, and I wrote this one for them. It would mean a lot if you pre-save it. It comes out January 3rd. Hope that you like it.
And then I met you. Yeah, then I saw everything. I was wide awake for ages. Thought I turned through all the pages.
Let's do it. Welcome, boys.
How's it going?
So you were just saying that this would be released in 2028, and I was thinking that might actually be a great idea for a podcast. Because imagine
Time
like
capsule?
you had the Beatles or other acts, and they just did time capsule podcasts, and they didn't release them till 10 years later.
Well,
Would
that
be
did just
great.
happen on Get Back.
Well, there you go.
Exactly
like he came up with it.
But it wasn't like 6 years. It was like
Yeah.
40 years. Have you seen that?
Oh, it was great.
Well,
It's
yeah.
insane.
Have you? Yeah, no, it was nuts.
You would especially, both of you would love that because it was all about the songwriting process.
Oh, it was crazy.
What I found crazy was sort of substantiating the rumor that Paul McCartney was, how can I say it? He was the confident lead writer.
Right.
I couldn't get over seeing George
love the whole
Harrison's
thing.
who's like one of the top writers in the world, George Harrison himself.
Yeah.
And you can see him getting frustrated that Paul's having that, at least at this time period.
Right.
And then George in his own right did so many amazing things afterwards.
We had a great time watching it. Yeah, it was.
No, it was cool to see Paul lead, and also there wasn't like really any animosity with John and Paul. You always heard that
True.
there was barely, at least from what I saw,
Mhm.
which I thought was cool. And Yoko wasn't really a factor. I mean, she was screaming here and there, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like she was like.
I feel like I know Paul, but John is like still mysterious to me. And it's like I want to get to know him more,
Yeah.
That's not possible.
and you can't really. But
See, but the thing is about like Paul's a Gemini, so he's gonna wear everything out. He's gonna be wacky,
Everything
but
was
he's
out
gonna
there.
everything's out there,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
That's how Gemini is.
I was saying I was wishing that they had that for every Beatles album. Can you imagine if you could watch every album being made? It was like.
It's really priceless, and it tells you that through the process, and you guys are living proof of this. Turn on the camera. Why not? You might
true.
capture magic. You might capture a lot of boring stuff.
Yeah.
But let the viewer decide, right?
His now fiance always says that. She says, "You guys should just put the camera on a tripod."
And
in
we
the
never
studio."
do.
And we never do.
And you
We
never
should.
do. Oh, that
we
that-
should listen to
We
her.
should.
well, that's either common or you should have somebody just kind of doing it for you and not even telling you.
Yeah.
That would be the way to
Yeah,
do it.
and she does sometimes.
Oh, she does.
Sometimes.
She suggested you should just put a tripod in the corner of the room and just flick
Just
it on.
always
every
leave
time.
it
agree.
on.
But sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna do something real quick, and then you end up,
Mhm.
and then you don't think about it.
When you guys actively sit down to write, or I'm only surmising that's what happens. What I want to ask you, Andrew, as a writer of music, and when you take that idea and you go to record it, do you ever just like freeze up a little bit? When the red light's on, and do you prefer to really work it out first without it on, or do you put it on to listen back and go, oh, that's good, but this would be better? Is it a
Well,
tool for you?
You go in there, and Matt would say the same thing. You go in there and you have the idea pretty much fleshed out. But then if something's not working once you record it, I think you hear it right away.
You hear it right
and
away.
Then, and you say, you know what, let's rework that second verse or whatever it is. But yeah, no, it's definitely it shows you what's going on.
It happens all the time. Like we had I had a really cool song, and I brought it to Andrew, and I started playing it for him, and all of a sudden he just started playing a different chorus, or I thought mine was the chorus, and he was like, "That's an awesome verse, but what if we had almost like a 2-chorus song?"
Yeah, we'll do that to each other. He'll come in with the whole song. I'll say, "Great verse." I'll say, "Stop." Let's get the chorus, yeah, and then or vice versa. He'll do that to me.
And now it's a great song that we both sing, and it just changes, just like that.
Right.
Why don't we go back in time? Because I think I feel fortunate to have you with us, because often, yes, people know about the Como brothers from a really great social media following and seeing you live here in Port Jeff and other places, but I'm not sure they know the story of the beginnings of your music.
Mm.
Why did you pick up a guitar, and was it the guitar? What did you pick up?
Well, it was piano in the very beginning, but we didn't stick with it. It was like, I don't know, what we were in 8 years
Piano
old.
could be tedious at 8.
Yeah, it was just.
I
It
wish
felt
I
like it was
did.
another class. It felt like school.
A couple
after
years
school.
ago, I started doing.
He was getting pretty good. You were
More.
getting pretty good at
You
it.
were
then
forcing yourself to
I was
get better.
forcing
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny. We came in here and we were like, we're not going to give Kevin the same old story that we give everyone else.
But we've never given it to him.
We never given it to him.
Yeah. I
But we
don't.
got to give you new stuff.
We're
you
going
know?
to totally get new stuff, but this would be new to me. This would be
Yeah,
new
yeah.
information.
No, I
and
mean new stuff about the old stuff. We have to give you a
Ah,
unique,
of course.
exclusive thing.
Oh,
you know?
of course. This is
So what-
This is TMZ of Port Jeff times
Exactly.
1,000, no doubt.
So what Andrew didn't tell you is when he first was learning the piano, he actually wet his pants right there at the piano.
I did.
Is that true?
Yep.
Okay.
That's very true.
But because you're excited about you were playing, or
I don't know
Or-
what
or-
it was.
or-
It was just a natural reaction. I
natural
guess.
reaction.
Stuff like that, like people haven't heard before.
But it's got to be true, Matt. Everything.
that
everything
one's
is
true.
That
one's
is true. Okay.
Check the record book.
So yeah, let's get through this one thing that I want to understand, and I know the audience wants to know what age were you? And you said you started with piano.
Yeah.
Did you both start with piano? And what age was it?
Yeah, we were both starting. I think I was, 7 or 8, and he was 9 or 10 or something like that. And we just didn't stick with it. We didn't enjoy the practicing part of it. But eventually, we got to guitar. I think I was 10. I put it down for a couple of years. I picked it back up when I was like 13.
That's what age I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
The lazy answer, we often give people the lazy answer a lot of times, like, oh, we've both been playing our whole lives, whatever, move on. But the true answer for me is I actually started playing guitar when I was 18,
he did. Yep, he
Late.
started
Okay.
much
at the
later
end.
than most people.
right at the end of high school.
End of high school, it was April 1st, actually, my birthday. I picked up a guitar, started playing Day Tripper. Not well, obviously, just playing each note, plucking along until I had it.
Yes.
Because he was playing downstairs with a bunch of friends from high school.
Right.
And I was like, I really want to join them, And so I just was plucking away the whole day, just trying to learn the riff. And I just learned like the basic riff, like not really well. But yeah, I don't usually tell people I started actually 18. I don't know why. I think it's like an insecurity thing. Like, oh yeah, we've been playing our whole life, whatever, But really, I think
it's not a big deal.
no, I know, but I think it's kind of cool because I did put the time in when I was in college to like really learn it,
Yeah, sure.
But
But I'm stuck on the very beginnings of touching an instrument. I
Yeah.
want to know why you touched an instrument. I mean, besides a xylophone you got when you were 2 years old.
It was always the Beatles. I mean, I remember we were in.
What do you mean? It was so, okay.
It was always the Beatles.
We're not hitting something because you're not 8 years old and listening to Beatles
No,
unless
we
somebody
weren't.
else is.
We were. I remember being. I think I was.
Hey.
I remember being 3 or 4 years old. And the first song I remember hearing was "Twist and Shout," the Beatles version. My dad always had, and that was when we had the cassettes. There was no CD player in that car.
3 of them there.
Yeah. But no, he
have so
always
many
had
cool
the
things
Beatles
around
on.
here.
When I was in middle school and high school, I had the anthology on my CD Walkman that I would listen to every day. That made
See,
us.
Dad dug the Beatles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
My dad and
kind of
my
where I was
uncles.
going. I wasn't trying to put it because I really didn't know, but I know like my mom listened to Motown.
Right.
So she didn't have to because at that
Right.
time there were a few other things that were hitting. I think of disco, and then she grabbed into the 50. But by far her music was Motown.
Yeah.
And you pick up on where I'm going with this. You pick up on these little things from very early age,
Yeah.
even if you're not playing. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
find I'm rhythmic in my guitar playing because of Motown,
Oh,
just
yeah.
that little bit. And I find you guys, write these well-rounded tunes.
Thank you.
Probably, I mean, because of the listening to the greatest songwriters of our time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Okay.
I think that gave us a sensibility of like, okay, we're getting to the chorus now.
Mm.
We didn't listen to stuff that was jammy, that meandered on, which is nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't our
It's
thing.
not just like that was one act we listened to. Like a lot of people, obviously, they know the Beatles, but we were like obsessed, And
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
people are too, I guess, But
Well, he came in later, but I was in a Beatles tribute band with my dad and my uncle
Okay.
for when I was in high school. That's what I did on the weekend. I would go out and play, in the bars with my
Also,
dad and
though,
my uncle.
our mom's gonna watch, and she's gonna be like, "I gave you a lot of music influence," and actually, she did. She was probably even more than my dad going out to shows in the '70s.
Oh, yeah.
She was at concerts all the time.
Big
and
concerts?
and she would
A
tell us
lot of
about
my
them.
father's place, and she would always say she saw a lot of bigger acts and a lot of these smaller places on the
Oh,
island.
that's phenomenal.
She saw, I think it was Muddy
My father's place,
Waters.
or CBGB's. Like she was.
Yeah, they went into all these places.
Oh my God! There's something just hit Netflix on that, or one of this. It's supposed to be phenomenal on
Oh yeah.
CBGB.
Oh nice, nice. I
Yeah.
gotta check it out.
Yeah, all those documentaries.
But she would tell us about all these places and all the acts that she saw and how cool it was.
Yeah,
And I
no,
think that
so
left an
it's-
impression, like, rock concerts are cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they liked it. They were very. It wasn't like a wag your finger at us, don't do that, or you know what I mean. It was very encouraging. Like, yeah, that's awesome. So I think that had a lot to do with us writing songs and stuff like that too.
So it wasn't like the Twisted Sister video where the father walked in and
No, nothing.
cracked
It
them
was-
over the head for listening to rock and roll.
No, opposite of that. He would come in and say, let's get you guitar lessons.
Gotcha. So
Which was
there
great.
it is.
And I think we resisted it more than. I think they wanted us to do it more than even we
Well,
wanted to in the beginning.
With the piano, definitely. But once the
piano.
guitar and
Okay.
once I was in the Beatles tribute band,
Yeah.
you have to learn the majority of that catalog, and you're like, this is awesome.
I remember my dad would take me to like drum lessons, and I would just not want to go every
Well, certain
time.
things don't
That's
click.
very
Didn't click,
common. That's
you
very
know?
common.
Yeah.
But I find, and you probably can say this, when you get into those rudiments, are big on the drums, right? It at least gives you a sense of discipline.
Oh,
Going
yeah.
to something, even going to something every week. And I remember my brother would play the drums. I would play guitar while he was doing the drums. I would not just because it was so rudimentary, I'd actually fall asleep, and then sometimes I'd fall asleep during my lesson. Tony Sands out of Sound Beach. Yeah, I remember that. Wow, this is bringing back memories.
Sound Beach is where that
This is
was where
crazy.
I did the drum lesson. Yeah,
Sound Beach Music.
Sound Beach Music.
Yeah. Wow, great. So let's fast forward big time. And I want to know what it's like to be you guys. I really want to know what's a day in the life, because people see the finished product on Instagram. They see sort of you living as a musician, and I'm not sure what that means today, right? Because you're always constantly having 2 or 3 audiences. You're having the external audience on social media to keep people engaged and coming to see you live. Am I correct?
So true.
That's
Right.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a multifaceted thing. We're writing our songs, but we're doing anything that we can: weddings, birthday parties, wineries, restaurants, as well as original gigs or whatever. That's strictly original.
We're kind of homebodies too. I mean, we're at home recording a
Yeah.
lot, writing, practicing together, and we're not really big, go out and party type of people.
No.
But
You know?
when you put those things together at home, they're still put out though. That's what's different, right? So about the world today as a musician, because we I'll take myself, just hours of playing guitar in a bedroom and then only getting out when we got out. And if you didn't get out,
Yeah.
you were in the bedroom playing the freaking record. So that's really amazing, right? That you can put something together, make it gel, even if it's just an idea, put it out. And your fans, and I was following you and still do on is it called Patreon, right?
Patreon, yep.
People should understand that is a viable way. And I'll tell you what's amazing about Patreon. You can have the greatest act in the world, but the guy that does silly little guitar lessons has got like freaking 5,000
We should do
followers at
that.
$10 a month.
Yeah.
No, I don't. People have to understand this,
Yeah.
right? And so there's a percentage of it. They're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, for sure.
I mean,
Patreon's a great
We've
thing.
heard that if we just give guitar lessons on the songs that we've put out, that a lot of people are interested in that.
We got to do that, yeah.
And then we keep pushing it off, and we never get to it. But
Yeah, it's interesting what floats people's, but what gets people's attention? Don't you like often scratch your head and go, wow, that got like 313 views, but that idiocy got 1 million? Come on, guys. You say that to
Falling off a
yourselves.
bike or something.
Yeah.
yeah, well, Andrew does this series called "What the Hell Is Going On Here,"
I love it.
and pretty
Thank
much
you.
just anything crazy going on during the day, he'll just flip his phone up and be like, "What the hell?"
Let's
If
show.
something catches my eye.
Let's show one of these. So you're befuddled by things in life, right?
Well, if something catches my eye that doesn't line up or doesn't make sense, I'll call it out. Today's episode of What the Hell is Going On Here, this is just math. This is just basic math. Let me just show you this. 1 bar is 100 calories. 2 bar is 190 calories. That doesn't make sense, Nature Valley. That just doesn't make sense. This isn't a buy one get one free deal. You can't just make shit up. That's 200 calories. If 1 is 100, 2 is 200. I don't know who you think you're lying to and getting away with this shit. You're not going to get away with it.
Very cool. I love that, guys.
Yeah.
You know, it gives a different flavor. You're not just, writing machines. You're also fun machines. Let me talk to you about, and we're going to go to different places, stuff that people don't usually hear. Talk to me briefly about the writing process.
I think it just comes from before you get to even any of the actual doing of it.
Mm-hmm.
We just like the puzzle of it. I think just trying to figure out how you could bring something to life out of nothing. There's some kind of fun to the challenge of it. There's some kind of inspiration to, or like aspiration to like want to make the best song you possibly can.
That's what I note in your writing, and that's admirable. That's really admirable because it's not easy. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that certain people like Billy Joel and Paul McCartney may come easier to. I don't know. I'm not convinced. God-given, if you will.
Right.
But the fact that you're actively admitting that you're trying to make a product, and that product is the song, and that song should be the best it can. And by the way, we should note that your quality when you record is phenomenal. You guys talk about some of the places.
Thank you.
That's him.
That I know you've recorded in some pretty big places, but you're also really, really in tune with mechanically how to make a recording.
Anything that we put out in the past, what is it now, Matt? 5 years, 4 years has been just self-recorded. 4 years.
I think 4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And he does it all.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I mean,
didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, we would go into the big studios, New York City Germano Studios, and Voodoo over here, and all these places. But it got to a point where
Expensive, first of all.
Expensive. I was putting my, I was at a day job at a desk, and I was dumping the entire salary into this. And I said, I'm sitting at a desk 10 hours a day, dumping my entire salary just to go into, once a year we go into the studio. Why don't we get the equipment, set up something at home, I'll learn it, and then I could be sitting there 10 hours a day, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just made our product much more what we want over time. I mean, it's taken a while.
Cut the expense all the way down. So like
Yeah.
he said, all that money he was just working to put into it, now he just puts into it.
And the feeling of control over every.
You have control
facet.
over it. If you don't like it, that when we, how much pressure would be when we're paying tens of thousands of dollars to go into the studio, and if you don't get it right that day, you can't go and do it again. They charge you if you want to do it again.
You'll
And
be
when-
writing songs no matter how unhappy you are.
Yeah. Now we don't like it. Scrap it. I'll do it tomorrow. You know what I mean?
In
It's-
our studio, we do that a lot. We'll
do it all
sing
the
the
time.
whole song and be like, I think maybe we'll have a stronger voice tomorrow. We try it
Yeah.
again.
But then you also find, we're getting to a point where we know what we want sooner too.
it's getting much quicker too. So the studios are great too because of the learning experience, like watching all the engineers.
Watching those guys, I mean,
Great
it was a
engineers.
foreign
Shout out,
language.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You mentioned Voodoo, Frank Mataratona.
Yes, Frank, and then
Great guy, love that
Kenta
guy.
Yonisaka at Germano.
Germano
but
Studios.
watching them go, I
Mhm.
mean, I was never watching them saying, I'm gonna, overthrow these people one day. Well, that's not what I was
Frank
watching.
was
But
just
I was
like teaching you too. I mean,
but I was just curious.
Frank
like, how
is a
are they
great
doing
guy.
This?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
he
I,
you
I still would have had to really
Mhm.
dive in and learn it like anyone else myself, but watching them, I think, really sped the whole thing up for me, because I knew what they did. I knew, we're in a chorus. You want to triple the vocals or double the vocals. I knew what that meant, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
So,
wow, that's amazing.
or-
How many songs are you writing now a year?
Ooh, well, he just just over the past couple of weeks went on a spree. What did he wrote like freaking?
Before we even
15.
say that, though, I just want to say, because Andrew, he's humble about it, but he would be like Kenta, he'd be over the shoulder being like, oh, what's that? What's
Mhm.
this app? How do you do that?
Yeah,
And really learn it. But anyway,
but you did like 15, I think, in the past couple of weeks. I mean, he's been on like every day. He's like, I got another one. Holy crap.
Wow, that's amazing.
I don't know if there were 15 full songs,
but it- well,
ideas, you kind of like
No, they're
scrap
pretty
through
full.
ideas.
He's being humble. They were
Mm.
pretty full. They're pretty full.
Yeah,
Maybe he doesn't
yeah.
have a bridge or something, but they were pretty full.
Wow.
I have like a running list of my ideas, and I think I have like that I'm like happy with, like, oh, these are like nice finished songs. I think there's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ran through like a ton of ideas.
But what I
Mhm.
like about that is we're always in the process of recording, 3 to 4 songs in different stages of being done.
Okay.
And when that happens, or when I bring stuff to the table, you know, the next stuff on deck will be fighting amongst itself. It will be like, all right, well, that's the best one out of those 15, and then he'll try to beat it. He'll try to write another one that beats that. So there's always a running list.
I'm showing you.
Sure.
I have this list, and I have like this A group of songs, B, C, D, and it goes down like with the ideas that I think are A ideas or B ideas. I don't know what you do actually.
I don't do that. No, I just kind of.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have like about 9 songs that are finished recently. Just writing it, and with him too. I mean, you played a big part in some of those too. But
Absolutely amazing. I think that's a lot. I really do, because I know songwriters and musicians, and that's high output. That's really great. So that leads to the ultimate question. We mentioned the 70s, like where the writing machines were in place, and we mentioned Motown before, where that was a literal machine of taking songs, and you guys knew what it was about back then, right?
It's crazy.
Putting songs on the radio and getting play and selling albums.
Right.
What is the hope for you guys? I mean, I'm going to just be blunt. How do you monetize writing songs today? I mean, you must think about this constantly.
Publishing is a big thing, which we're trying to get into. But if you can get your music on, commercials and TV and movies, that's where the money's at, because it's not in streaming.
A nice passive income. I mean, obviously, you're doing shows, but as an up and coming act, when you may be playing to no one on a bunch of gigs if you're going state to state, or you may be hitting a hot spot where you have followers, but it may not be as consistent with the gigs. So if you get publishing and a passive income with that stuff,
oh yeah,
I mean that's what we're mostly aiming for, especially with these new recordings.
So is there a portion of your time, right? Because it's in the creative process of writing, it's in the secondary creative process of honing and finishing.
Yep.
It's in the recording process, which you do so well.
Thank you.
Do you have a percentage of your time laid out to actually knocking on doors for this yet? Or do you one day are you gonna one day pull up with a dump truck, and I'm saying this like super literally, of digitizing songs, and just say, we have it all here.
We're kind of like that.
That's
think
probably
that's what we're just building our
like
catalog, and we're not doing it to. We do want the result, but we're kind of just going month to month and saying, let's make another one that's just freaking great. You know what I mean? We're not really.
Well, we put one song out a month.
One a month, yeah.
When you say you put one song out, do you mean audio and video?
Most of the time.
Okay.
Most of the time, yeah, 90% of the time.
All of his songs, some of my songs, because I don't really like music videos as much.
Sometimes he'll say, next week, and then he'll.
I kind of think
say,
they're
you
like a
skipped
pain in
it
the
on
ass.
purpose, right?
Well, they can be, yeah.
When we go do the music video, it's fun, and my fiance actually does our videos.
She's great.
She's amazing. He edits them.
You talk about if we're singing a happy song, I mean, the biggest scowl on his face, and not because he means it, he just doesn't like doing the music. There's no one in the world who could cheer him up except his fiance. I couldn't.
You found the right one.
I couldn't say anything.
Tatiana.
I couldn't say anything. She'll say, I'll say, Matt, lighten up. It will make him even angrier.
If he wasn't around, I don't think you would ever.
You would never have a video.
Get a good video.
You would never be in the video.
Never.
And even with her there, after like basically after 3 hours, I'm always like, come on, we got to get out of here. And
always. And it's always at that
done.
point where we say, Matt, 2 more scenes in 2 different locations, and we always end up, the majority of the music video are those next 2.
Of course.
They claim
Always.
that, but
No, always.
it's like we're shooting for hours, and I'm done.
So usually if you watch a music video of ours, usually what you see
Is me pissed off at the end.
Is post Matt's complaints. So
always.
usually.
Why don't we put something like that out? Some
We should some B-roll.
really just put a little of that.
That's a great idea.
I'm sure there's a lot.
That's a great
Just
idea.
30 seconds of the scowls and are we done yet?
That's a great idea.
Be priceless.
But we
Keep
have,
that in
I mean,
mind.
we have fun, and she has an amazing eye for video.
She's great.
So
with,
we luck out with that.
She's great with angles and just
Mhm.
knowing where to pan, and she's just really great at that, and photos too.
Oh
I mean-
yeah, she does our photos too. At this point,
You
You're
know,
very,
I mean,
very, very lucky.
very
fortunate.
lucky.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
That's
So
people
great.
pay thousands of dollars for that kind of stuff.
yes,
So-
they do. Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you have the writing machine, you have the recording, you're building your catalog, you have a family member now in the business
Yeah,
of
yeah.
promoting you.
Yep.
Let's go back to the time when I guess I first met you guys, but I felt like I knew you a little bit before, where I called upon you. I said, "Guys, would you like to write a song for Port Jeff?"
Yeah.
This was funny, right? I think it was an email, and you guys were like, "That's interesting." and we ended up doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was a beautiful partnership. You wrote the song, we did the video, and it's out there. And we did a live event at Port Bistro in the summer. It was really special.
great.
It's such a great song.
Take Me Home.
Yeah.
No, I remember getting the email, and that's when we started really getting confident with our own recordings. And I said, let's do it. We could do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in terms of just the actual recording process, doing it ourselves, I felt like we could do this.
Did I give you attitude like you can't do this?
I don't think so.
Did I?
He
No.
wants-
Or
you
did
know-
I try to do it?
I don't think so. No.
You basically he started right away and he came up with the idea.
I think it took. I mean, you could probably tell me from when you asked to when we gave it to you. I don't know, a month or two, something like that.
I think you gave yourself time.
Yeah.
As I remember,
Maybe a
it
couple-
was like
several
I
months.
think it was like 3 to 4
But
months.
he wanted
Okay.
it to be perfect before he showed
Sure,
you. I think he
sure.
came to me like almost right away because I didn't even have a chance to think.
Oh, you're talking about just the raw song.
Just the raw idea
Oh,
of
yeah,
it. It
yeah.
was like right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's show the audience that because it's
Let's do it.
it's something I'd like to bring to the community. They
Yeah.
can't forget this. It was epic. I
People
thought.
still come up to us
Good.
about the video.
Oh yeah,
in-
random
in Port Jeff.
places.
Yeah, good.
Or anywhere. They say you guys. We're at a winery out east. You the Port Jeff guys? The
Yeah.
Port Jeff
Yeah.
song guys?
It just came together too because me and Craig produced it. Craig on the cinematography, myself on the direction, and
Yeah.
then this wonderful woman who moved away since, who I think was in the wellness business, so to
Right.
speak. You know, she lent her time, and
Yeah.
she's on.
You
this
guys
video.
did a great video. You really did.
Yeah,
Oh, it was awesome.
I feel like it felt you guys,
Great.
fit you guys really well.
Great, promo with the article and everything. It really caught on. You
Yeah,
did a great
really
job.
good.
It was
Thank
great.
you. All right, let's show that.
Lily was a lonely girl, living all alone in her lonely world. She wanted something, nothing more, just a place she could call home. She hopped a flight to Miami Beach, Tucson, Arizona, and Jamaica, Queens. But there was something missing there, so she turned and said to me, take me home, by the ferry dock, underneath the stars, back where I belong.
Yeah, that video was so well received. TBR picked it up, and we should just keep it in the mind's eye. I always like people, artists included, right? Take that piece of art. People produce things, and oftentimes it gets put out and people appreciate it, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
So it's good to revisit things.
Oh yeah,
To re-up things and to that's what it's all about.
for sure.
You know,
We play that song all the time too at our
You play
our
it out, I
gigs.
know.
Yeah, it's great.
It always goes over well.
Fun
yeah.
to play.
Yeah. By the way, I saw you guys last live, and it was so fun at the apartment complex called Brookport.
Yes.
With Mr. Rob Gito.
Great
that
guy.
That was exciting. Fantastic guy. I love the fact that Rob, who's in, let's face it, he's a developer, and he loves music, and he appreciates you guys. So,
Yeah.
so that's good. And we should tell people you're coming up, and we want to get this out beforehand. You're going to be playing live at the Ice Festival, third
Yeah.
annual.
Yes, we're going to be playing on January 29th. If it's snowing or raining, it will be January 30th. But we're going to be playing from 11:30 to 1:30, and then 2:15 to 4:15. So we're going to be playing,
Double.
twice
Yeah,
that day.
double.
Yep.
Like it.
But Rob is awesome. He actually found us through his son, who loved "Take Me Home."
The
Actually,
Take Me
so
Home video.
there's the connection with that.
Wow.
So his son loves that song. He said he listens to it, all the time. And even at that apartment complex, we played it, I think, 3 times for him.
And I mean, sweet guy, and look at all the good he's doing
great.
in the community.
Yeah,
Great
amazing.
family.
So-
We, we played a Mather hospital event that he was a part of, and his whole family was there. Great people. So,
Wow.
Yeah, really great people.
Really great that different segments of the community come together around music.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. Let's talk about some of the things you've are working on now, or something you've just put out.
Yeah, so we just put out a song called "And Then I Met You," and I actually always tell this story, but it's actually about him and his fiance. Tatiana got Matt this picture frame, and on the top of it, it says "And Then I Met You," and it's been hanging in his apartment for like a year. And I always said that sounds like a song title. And then I met you. That sounds like a song title. So I wrote that one for them, and it just came out on January 3rd. So
2022. It's
2022.
First song of 2022.
Yep.
And on top of that, Tatiana and I asked Andrew to play that at our wedding.
Yes.
I was just going to ask that. Who's going to be your band at the wedding? How are you going to do this?
So, I mean,
You're going to have a DJ. And then I'm really not going to like you if you say that.
no, you know what? I mean, we might do a couple, or I mean, Andrew's definitely doing that song. And,
For sure. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, it really meant a lot to us. And
When do you get married?
I just liked it right away. In about a year, yeah. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
The way you say about a year. So
About
you don't
a
have a
year.
date. You don't have a date.
It's well,
More or less.
probably like May 2022, June 2022.
Very
So-
cool. And how about you, Andrew? How many times have
No.
you been married?
Yeah. I'm on my third.
So you have a lot of heartache to write about.
Andrew,
yeah.
Andrew's single right now. All the ladies.
All the
watching.
ladies.
Yep.
So Ice Festival the 29th of
Yes.
January, but we're frigid in the middle of winter here in Long Island. But I'm excited that you've accepted to come back to the second annual Port Palooza, which we already have a date for. It'll be July 30th. I don't know if you remember last year.
Oh,
The-
last
the
year was
weather-
amazing.
The weather was the best day of the year.
And the way the stage
great.
was set up, you had a big crowd coming
Yeah, it
down to
was,
see
It was really nice.
all the acts. It was a great day. Great summer day,
Nice
a lot of
event.
fun.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh,
had a
yeah.
great time.
So do something spectacular. I know you're gonna have new songs, but you'll have a surprise for us, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have 5 lined up, new songs. So we'll probably have them all
That's
out by then.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's July 30th, 2022. Anything else that your fans should know about coming up?
What's the next release date for a song?
The next release date, we're doing one with Sam Wolf on. I don't know the date. I just know it's early February.
Isn't it February 4th? Am I wrong there?
You could be wrong.
I think it's around February 4th. You're going to see a song drop. We wrote a song with our buddy Sam last July.
Yep.
And we went through the process of kind of recording it in between our own songs with him. And
Yep.
he came down and sang, and we recorded it with him. So, yeah, it's going to
And
be
then after that,
great song.
we don't know what song's going to be after that, but sometime in March, early March,
Okay.
we'll
How
have another one out.
How about live events? I mean, typically you play out east as well
Right.
at wineries. I mean, what can we look forward to in the summer?
Oh, in the summer.
Check out comobrothers.com/tour.
That's what
That's a
we
great
want.
one. Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll be
can't
posting
remember.
all our gigs up because we can't remember.
By the way, have you noticed sales decreasing since the Como brothers broke up? The other Como brothers? I know, that was a standing joke for a little while. Guys, just so you know, there's no you in these
No,
brothers.
no relation.
No
relation. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times Andrew will tell me the day of, will be like, we got a gig, and I'll be like, oh, where are we going?
Yeah.
I keep the calendar. Yeah.
Andrew keeps the calendar.
Good to know. Good to know. So people that want to follow you, tell me, is it as simple as comobrothersband.com?
Yes, that's actually it. Yep. And all of our social media is right on the homepage of that. But
Como.brothers. I think that's all right.
for what?
Now,
oh,
do you guys
Instagram?
do you do
I
any
don't know what
comedy
you're
in
talking
between songs?
It's like, what?
comedy between songs?
Who's the talker on stage?
We both are. I mean,
Mostly Andrew. He has the radio voice. He did radio
He
in
does have a radio
college.
voice.
you think so?
Yeah.
I don't.
He always says that.
You do. I mean, more than me.
You want to do a podcast here with me?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
should.
Sure.
Okay.
It'd be fun.
We are starting a radio station.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I'm serious.
Oh,
It'll be a
nice.
24/7 radio
In
station.
here?
So I'll just give you your own show. Yeah.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah.
There's
Thank
been
you.
a couple of occasions. I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but where Andrew and I just broke down hysterically laughing at a couple of gigs.
On
where-
stage?
remember this? Like,
I do remember. But I
To the
don't
point
remember.
where you can't start the song,
Yes,
the next
no,
song.
we were
No.
in the song.
in the song, and you can't continue
and you
it.
can't continue this. We literally had to stop
That's
the song.
fantastic.
Like,
I don't remember what
hysterical. We
it
tried
was.
To, like,
Do you remember
power through it.
why? For any reason?
Had to be somebody out in the audience.
No, it wasn't anything in particular. I think
Had-
we caught on something funny maybe the other did, and we just couldn't stop. We had to stop the song. This happened more than once, but not recently, like years.
What are some of the quirky
Yeah.
things that happen? Like in live can be really strange, as you guys know. You break a string, somebody walks in, and the music's too loud, or what are some of the strange things you go through from a live playing perspective?
Well, there was one recently. We played on the South Shore. There was this girl and her friend that hadn't seen us in like 5 years. She said, we're going to come down and see, or maybe it was less than that, 3 years. We're going to come down and see a show. I said, awesome. So before it, I was like, hope I don't break a string. And I said, no, I never break a string. I broke a string twice. I said that never happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always when you highlight something bad happens.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Matt? What have you gone through
I'm
live?
just still thinking about those times where we were laughing. We had to stop and we could not continue.
I wish
and
we knew
kept
because
trying to play.
I remember
know
laughing.
the
I just don't
songs.
know why.
Yeah, that's the best kind of laugh because you can't stop.
Yeah, you can't stop.
We've been to all sorts of shady places that ended up being
Do you ever
kinda
play?
funny.
Do you ever play Misfits in Ridge?
No.
I don't think we have.
You might want to
No.
go there, man.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you go.
Nice place.
Yeah, it's an interesting
Yeah,
place.
sure.
I don't know.
No,
I've never been.
So
check it out later.
Now we've been on music this whole conversation, music and a little bit of love on your side, right? Let's talk. What do you like to? You guys ski? What else do you like to
I
do?
love to work
Handball.
out.
He
I
goes
love
to
to go to the
gym.
gym.
I didn't
Every
know
day.
that.
I love to go to the gym. Yeah.
You love to go to the gym.
love going to the gym.
Why? That gets your serotonin going.
It just makes me feel like okay, it's a good way to start the day.
So you go in the morning.
Yeah, I go in the morning. Yeah.
So maybe it gets your endorphins going for writing.
I don't know what it is. It just makes me feel like okay, now if you did nothing else today, which isn't true, but
I like
if you
this.
did nothing else today, you worked,
accomplished something.
You worked out. Yeah, as long as you eat right
And
today.
he goes religiously every day.
Well,
I didn't-
my cousin,
Andrew, I didn't know this.
I go with my cousin, and he's like, this guy knows what he's doing. So he really shows me everything, and it's great.
Wow.
It's like I have my
There
own
is nothing
personal
that feels
trainer.
better once you're in the zone.
Oh yeah,
You got to get in the zone. And so Matt, what do you do for fun? No, that's it. He just plays music. That's it. And falls in love.
Well, Andrew probably would know better.
Do either of you draw? I always ask it.
Do
you
I do
draw?
anything?
Do you draw or paint?
No.
Okay.
No, but our sisters do both or just one? They both draw. I think they both draw.
I have
Marissa
music.
does.
I have Tatiana.
You're busy now with Tatiana.
Do I do anything else really? Like hobby wise?
You really don't have time, to be
I don't
honest.
think so.
I don't know if I do.
Okay.
I mean, I just do the
You
gym
know?
as like okay, you got to do that in the morning type of thing.
Oh,
it's not like
well, I don't know if this is a thing I do, but it's just a fun fact.
You might like pork chops. It could be that too.
I was gonna say I'm a Italian restaurant
Yeah.
all the time, multiple
Yeah.
times
yeah.
every
You ever,
week.
Oh,
been,
yeah.
you ever been to this cool place called Pasta?
Pasta. Love pasta.
Great.
Amici in Mount Sinai actually is my favorite restaurant.
I didn't know
Shout
that.
out Amici in Mount Sinai. I get
All
them
right.
like 5
Shout
times
out.
a week.
Yeah.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
He had an engagement party there.
Oh
It
my
was really
God.
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So-
Good Italian food's group. You know, I go to the farmers market in Port Jefferson. I get these magdous. They're called magdous.
What's
I don't know if
that?
you know, they're Middle Eastern baby eggplants doused in walnuts, garlic.
Wow.
I'm turning you on to
That
something
sounds
now.
good.
Lots of salt, although you don't taste salt, but
Right.
there is lots of salt and walnuts and garlic and red pepper.
Ooh.
And you douse it into olive oil. You put it into mason jars. Oh, I get 2 a week religiously.
Oh, yeah.
2
That
jars
sounds
a
good.
week.
I went down there actually for the first time at the end of the summer, and I got pickles from the pickle people
I get
in
pickles
Rocky
all the
Point. The pickles are great.
Yep. They
That's
are.
the only thing
Who
I
knew?
got.
Who knew? That's great. How about New York City? Ever love to visit it? Did you love to visit it?
Yeah. We haven't been in a while,
Not in a
but
while.
Tatiana and I went to the tree. I mean, we
Yeah,
used
oh,
to
you
do
did? I've never done that.
We used to do a ton of gigs in the city. And Germano Studios is in
Oh,
the
yeah,
city,
we were
so
there
we,
for that, yeah.
we hit up the city a lot for that. But
Right. Phenomenal. Did you guys bring any instruments today?
We did. We have our
Yeah.
guitars.
I'd love to see you record something in the space to make it official, and then you come back. You could do your own show at
Yeah.
the space.
yeah.
That'd
You
be
know,
great.
especially with the winter, it's nice. You know, warm, cozy. Invite who you want.
Really
But
cool.
let's try something. You know.
Yeah, well, and I also just want to say thanks for having us. This is a really cool setup.
Oh yeah.
Coolest setup for a podcast we've ever done, and I don't think we've ever had like such a cool interview type of thing.
No,
like
this
this setup
is-
is really
My pleasure,
awesome.
guys.
It's
My
awesome.
pleasure.
Really cool.
Big fan. You know that.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
first and
Thank
foremost, fans, and we're friends now. Thanks for coming on. Let's do a little jam.
Let's do it.
All
All right,
thanks
let's
so
do
much.
it. Great.
Lily was a lonely girl, living all alone in a lonely world. She wanted something, nothing more, just a place she could call home. She hopped a flight to Miami Beach, Tucson, Arizona, and Jamaica, Queens. But there was something missing there, so she turned and said to me, take me home, oh, by the ferry dock, underneath the stars, oh, back where I belong. Now Billy was a rocket man, floating down the coast to the promised land. He loved the sun, but he missed his heart as an apple caught his eye. And Tommy said, we miss you, man. Take that rocket back to Port Jefferson. He was feeling down, so he took a drag as the moon blinded the sky. And so he left it all behind. Take me home, oh, by the very dark, underneath the stars. Home, back where I belong, where we used to walk by the 83, down the west side of Main Street. Now we barely talk, so I'll wait and see if everything is there where it used to be. No, back where I belong. Take me home. No, back where I belong. Back where I belong. Back where I belong. Back where I belong.